Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cheat Code Jiu-Jitsu. Jeff here again. We are still working top side control submissions from when I have a bottom staple and I can move myself around to a 45-degree angle. Got some fun stuff for you today because I'm going to talk about Kimuras, specifically how I do Kimuras, a little bit on how I finish them, how I set them up. From this bottom side staple position, you're in a really good spot to prevent your opponent from getting his hands together, which is one of the biggest problems when you go to finish a Kimura. I'll show you a couple things that you can do to address that, to go ahead and finish the Kimura anyway if your opponent is able to get their hands together, and just a couple little small details, finishing mechanics that hopefully will help you guys level your Kimuras up to the next level. So I've got Chris here in side control, so go ahead that way. Perfect. Same setup. Boom, push, top staple, slide down, bottom staple, 45. So in our last video in the inverted arm block, I was keeping Chris's hand here, moving this to the side, and then setting up my arm block. For my Kimura, I need that hand to pop out around the other side. So I can either set this up with almost an identical setup of coming in tight and pushing it across, and then I can weave my hand inside to catch my Kimura, or I can come underneath, grab just like I was doing setting up my inverted arm bar from the last video, and then as I start leaning out like this, I can put shoulder pressure, drive that wrist forward, and then that's where the Kimura comes out. Now at this point I've got my lock, wrist, no thumbs, wrist, no thumbs. And because I have the staple in place, it's very difficult for Chris to get his hands together. So I'm going here, weave this through, then I like to always come up and pinch the guy's head together. You're gonna find out why in the next video that I post, why that's so important, why that's critical. But I come up here, so I'm sitting with my knees pinched around his head, staple on his bottom arm with my Kimura grip in place. I'm just gonna pick this up and then finish. Now, keys to the finish. This is a fun one that I learned about 2 years ago. It's called the ice pick. Okay? Too many people go to finish a Kimura and then grab this hand that I've got attached to his wrist and then just try to push back. It's not the right way to finish. That, Chris can go for a good long way before I'm going to do anything. More important is to focus on this arm that I have weaved through, and I'm going to pull it back. But if I combine that motion with like I'm stabbing with an ice pick, it's amazing how fast that Kimura finishes. It takes very little energy, just pick it up and then ice pick and boom, he's done quick. So ideally I get into that position without Chris getting his hands together. I get my ice pick finish, I get the Kimura done really fast. What happens if that fails and he actually is able to get his hands together? So here's a couple things that I like to do to finish the Kimura anyway, get his hands apart. So I got my Kimura grip in place, Chris did whatever, it came out. I got to continue pinching here so that I can maintain control and I don't want him to roll out. But you see where my left elbow is right now? It's right above Chris's ribs. So one of the fun things that I can do here to get him to stop concerning himself so much with his hands and start concerning himself with something else is I just simply take my elbow, I put it on top of his ribs, I slide my body weight over top of it, and then I just start pushing down. See how quick he started moving there? It's amazing how much you really just don't want to be in that position anymore when somebody does this to you. So I grab here, I go there, drive down, and there it is. And now I can ice pick and finish. That's number one, that's the jerky way to do it, which is always fun. But, a little bit nicer way. What's he doing right here? And what does he not want me to do? Well, what he's doing is he's got a nice little grip here on his hands. He's pulling down really hard because he does not want me to separate these hands and pick this hand up and put it behind his back. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a little Jedi mind trick on him. I'm gonna pull really hard, and as soon as I lean back and start pulling, Chris is gonna pull down really hard. Oh man, I didn't want that. Let me get this out. Pull really hard again. Every time I pull, he starts pulling harder back down in the other direction. So second time, third time, fourth time, whenever. I'm gonna go and as soon as I start to pull back and I start to feel Chris pulling down, I'm gonna go with his pressure and I'm gonna pop down and then take it. So what I'm doing is I pull back. When he starts pulling down, I just push in the same direction that he's pulling. It causes his grip to collapse. Then I can just take that right back up, put it behind his back, ice pick finish, and I get my Kimura. So to review, Kimura setup, side control, going for perfect side control. He drops the elbow, grab the wrist, pin, top side staple, slide, windshield wiper, move to 45, underhook the elbow, scoop it, pick it up, take it across. There it is. Wrists, no thumbs, come up on top, pick that up, my ice pick finish there. If Chris manages to get his hands together, no problem, pinch around his head. I've got my elbow down finish to give him something else to think about, or alternatively, I just get in here, keep this all tight, pull, pull, snap, break the grip that way, lift back up, pull that behind his back, ice pick, finish off the Kimura. One of the most basic and effective jiu-jitsu submissions out there. It's a staple in everybody's game. Hopefully I showed you guys a few details there that you can work into your own games. If you like the video, hit the like button, really helps me out a lot. Subscribe to the channel, come back, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.